Hello divas, this is the Sassy Stew and welcome back to my channel. Okay divas, on today's vlog I will be sharing with all of you the top 5 questions that I have been receiving on our Facebook page on how did I become a flight attendant. So on today it will be more of a tutorial, and at the same time I guess for those aspiring flight attendants out there, this will be a little tip in your mind on if this is really something that you want to do. So I have picked 5 of those questions that will hopefully continue to inspire you on becoming a flight attendant. And so our first question is, do you need to have a tourism degree to be a flight attendant? It is not necessary for you to have a tourism degree. Actually, any college degree, once you have an interest of applying for a flight attendant, whether you are in marketing, advertising, or any kind of college degree that you might have, it's okay. Continue and apply for it, because you just never know. It's how you present yourself during the interview process that what matters. Actually, here in the States, it's much lenient, because as long as you have a GED or a high school diploma. GED is kind of like a version of TESDA in the Philippines. Once you have a high school diploma or a GED here in the States, you could actually apply on becoming a flight attendant as long as you are 21 years old and above. So tourism degree, it's a plus really, because the airline industry does fall into tourism. However, it is not 100% necessary that you need to have a tourism degree. On our next question, and that question is, do you need to be good looking to becoming a flight attendant? Now, why are you asking me this? Am I not good looking enough? I'm just kidding. Anyway, I don't think look matters. To be honest with you, I think what really matters is how you present yourself during the interview process. I'm a firm believer that on that saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So people think that you have to be really pretty good looking in order for you to become a flight attendant. Remember, the beauty of that, I think that matters, is the beauty of what's inside. Your passion on the craft is what shines out when you are on the line and when you are in the aircraft. When you are on the aircraft and working with those passengers, the beauty that they see in you is how you present yourself to them. The physical look comes second. So apply, because believe in yourself and have the self-confidence that you are beautiful no matter what they say, just like what that song Christina Aguilera had sang. So good looking, I think everybody is good looking. So don't be afraid to just continue to apply. And up to the next question, and the next question that we have is that, what is the interview process? Now, every airlines has a different ways of interviewing flight attendants. In my case, I've been in the airline industry, or I've been a flight attendant for almost 13 years. So back then, the interview process had so much different than what it is today on my airline that I'm working for. When I was interviewed back then, and back in 2007, I was just given a little test quiz per se, and it consists of 5 different questions about the airline industry. And they said there is no right or wrong answer on answering those questions. They just want to assess you on what knowledge that you have about the airline industry. And after that, I was interviewed by a panel where we were brought to a room, and there was about 10-15 of us in the room, and each of us had to stand in front of a panel of 3 people and ask us on the question on why do we want to become a flight attendant. And each of us had to present ourselves and talk about why we want to become a flight attendant. Now, please, if you are going through that kind of process, do not just say because I love to travel. That is the most typical answer that any applicant will say, is because I love traveling. Well, kind of go a little bit deeper than that. Talk about culture. If you have experience traveling, talk about the place that you've been to, whether locally in the Philippines or internationally. Just talk about, or make it a little bit more deeper than just saying, I love to travel. Okay? And then after that process of being in a panel, I was brought into a room where we did another one-on-one interview. I think it was another flight attendant that was actually interviewing me. So that was the third phase of the interview. And then finally, once you pass that third phase of the interview, they will offer you the job whether or not you got it. And not necessarily that you got the job, but they will give you the processing on the next step of the hiring process. And now the interview process on the airline that I work for has actually changed, because the interview process that we go through now, if you are now applying for a position of a flight attendant on the airline that I'm working for, has changed. Now they send you a link through via email, and it's a video interview. It records you, kind of like doing a vlogging. It has different questions. It takes about 20 minutes, and you're supposed to just talk to the camera and give the answer to the camera on the questions that they have on that link. So it has changed, and then they will send you a notification via email whether or not that you passed that stage on the video interview. And then that's when they will invite you to go in to the headquarters for a face-to-face interview. And a lot of people say, once you get into the face interview, you pretty much got it. Not necessary, because again, it's really how you present yourself during this interview and the knowledge that you possess when you go into this interview. So you still need to be mentally prepared when you go into the face-to-face interview. Okay? I don't know what is the interview process in the Philippines on the local airlines, or even on the huge carrier, the country's carrier flag airline. I don't know what the process of their interview, but the most common process of interview is once you fill up your application, they will invite you. They brought you into your room with the different other candidates, and like I said, they will have a panel of people evaluating you or assessing you on one or two questions that they may have, and then you do the face-to-face interview, and then pretty much that's it. So again, different airlines, different ways of the proper interview process that they have. And we're off to our fourth question, and that fourth question is, what kind of training did you receive as a flight attendant? Well, the training consists of 6 to 8 weeks long of training, and they are either a classroom training, not either, they are actually classroom training where you get a lot of information that they will discuss with the instructors, and then you get a written exam. And of course, the written exam, you have to pass it with, I believe, 90 to 95% and above on test scores. And then you also have the hands-on training. Well, what happens on the hands-on training is where you learn how to operate all the airplane doors in a normal operation, and how to open it, how to close it in a normal operation. And the most important is, how would you be able to operate the doors during emergency operation. And also during that, you will also learn the different commands that you do in case of an emergency. So there are a lot of trainings and lessons that you have to go through. That's the reason why they need to have that 6 to 8 weeks long of training. It is very, very important. It's all the information that you are going to need, so that once you are out in the line, you are definitely 100% confident that you will be able to perform the job as a flight attendant. And the final question that everybody's asking for is, how much money do you make as a flight attendant? Kind of a little bit personal, isn't it? Well, anyway, as I said earlier, different airlines has different pay rate. In the Philippines, the local pay rates, I'm not quite sure, but I know from some of my friends that are flight attendants out there on the local airlines that you guys have out there in the Philippines, they ranges between taking home from 30,000 to 50,000 a month is what my knowledge is. I'm not quite sure, like what I said. I'm not sure how much money does the local airlines in the Philippines make. But what I can tell you is, well, I'm not going to tell you how much money I make, but let me give you a rough idea on that sense. Here in the United States, like what I said, we don't have a base pay. Not like the Philippines, the airline in the Philippines, they start with a base pay. They get transportation allowance, they get food allowance, they get, they have so many other payment or premium pay compared to us here in the United States. But here in the States, our starting rate on the airline that I work for is about $30 per hour. Now, don't get too excited because it really depends on how much flying that you do. Now, it's a little bit difficult to explain to you guys on the formula that we have, but $30 is the beginning base pay or the beginning pay that my airline that I work for has offered. And as year goes by, you get your pay raise every year up to the most top out pay once you are on the 12-year mark, where on the 12-year seniority, you are now on the top up pay, and that top up pay is between $65 to $70. So again, it's a very difficult formula. You really need to be able to be a flight attendant to be able to understand it. And actually, it took me a while also to know how the pay system work. It took me years until I could figure it out how much money I was making. But at the same time, we also get per diem. The per diem is when you are out of your base and you get certain amount so that you could use that for food allowance or whatnot on your future trips. So we also have a premium pay, but it's just a way totally different on how it is set up to your locally airlines in the Philippines. So roughly, if you are becoming a flight attendant, it is a great career to have. To be honest, you really need to have the passion to work for this industry. And like what I said, and like any other job, if you're not happy with it, then you will not be successful. So you need to really have the heart of being a flight attendant. I have enjoyed it, and I continuously still enjoying flying and my career, and 13 years have passed by and I still continue flying and I still enjoy it. And right now I'm not flying because of the situations that we are all in, but I'm hoping by next month that I go back into flying. Okay, divas, I hope I have answered some of your questions, and I hope that if you are a aspiring flight attendant, that some of the tips that I have given you the idea on how a flight attendant life is. And it's not easy life. People think that it's a glamorous job because we travel to the different places in the world, or even to just different places in the city. If you are domestically flying in the Philippines, it is a good job. It is a good career. You get to experience, especially if you have a great crew that you're working with. The life could be really, really, really beautiful. And like what I said, being a flight attendant is also a very challenging job. It is also part of the essential worker that what we have right now, especially on this world crisis that we are facing. We are part of the first responder, especially in the travel industry. So if you are an aspiring flight attendant out there and you are applying to the airlines, I do suggest to give it a try, as long as you know you have your mind set for it, you have your heart set for it, because that is the most important thing on being a flight attendant. You really need to have the heart. You really need to be able, not just being a flight attendant, but any job that there is out there, you really need to have your passion and the heart for it, so that you could be successful. So I hope these little tips and these questions and answer that that we did helps you on understanding what a flight attendant is. And I will be doing some future vlogs on Hospitality 101 in the next coming up. So if you haven't done so, please turn on that subscribe button and also press that bell button for a notification on updates on the future vlog. And if you have enjoyed this video, give this video a like and share, and also comment down below. And I will see you divas on the next vlog. Keep on smiling.